Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Angoville. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. QuentinCOH2, playing as the Ostir, or Wehrmacht faction, in the blue. And his opponent in the red is going to be Mr. cruzz, playing as the Soviets of the Red Army. Angoville, I've missed you. It's been a while. So let's take a look at the players. Right off the bat, we do see Quentin and cruzz running into each other. Pios and combat engineers running into each other quite quickly. Usually having the North player rush the strategic point here is pretty common. We also see players wiring this approach frequently to try and stop that kind of thing in the movement, but for now, we'll see. cruzz building conscripts, and more conscripts. Quentin did build his tier 1 to start with, getting himself an MG42, because of course you can, and then following it up with some Grens. So, Pio squad on the field, now getting shot up by those conscripts. Does manage to capture that strategic point, going to be backing off, probably popping inside a house. Nope, going to be leaving itself in some heavy cover by the tractor. On the flank, we do have a conscript squad moving all the way to the left-hand side. Going to be probably capping that point, I guess. Bit of a weird angle there, but we'll see. And the MG42 going to be setting itself up out in the open field by those trees. Going to be catching that conscript squad out in the open. Does manage to crawl out of the way. Well, not out of the way, but crawl itself into some light cover. And then is forced to retreat. Pio squad does pop into that house as cruzz seemingly does not mind if it gets taken, as he does go for his own capture of the strategic point on the left-hand side, laying down some sandbags at the same time because, you know, why not, right? Combat engineers on the right-hand side going for the fuel. We do see the point getting cut off there by those Pios. And on the left-hand side, we do have more conscripts moving around and trying to capture some territory. Conscript squad moving up, unable to get inside that house. Going to be caught in a bad spot here as we do have Grens on top of them, and the Pios able to shoot close, forcing the retreat. And Quentin, well, basically punishing cruzz for not trying to secure this location. I mean, we'll see how it works out in the end, but yeah, I mean, usually in the high levels you do see like this location here being wired like this and wired here, making it a lot more difficult to get into these houses. Sometimes even the doors themselves get wired. Quentin saying that he hasn't played for 6 months. We'll see. Combat engineer squad on the right-hand side retreating because, well, it has to. Now getting assaulted by Grens. We do have 3 Grens in total on the field and those MGs, while for cruzz we do have 2 combat engineers, which, you know, it's not interesting exactly, but it looks like he built the second combat engineer squad to start building tier 2. And then only having 3 conscripts in total. So conscripts currently moving by themselves over on the left-hand side. We do see capping going on pretty much on a post as Quentin just secures the location over here on the right-hand side without any opposition as well. Combat engineers moving out through the center. We do see the Maxim machine gun getting built for cruzz. And it looks like both players right now are going to be content to just simply control each side of the map, and cruzz saying that if he wanted to win, he wouldn't be making conscripts. Touche. So, conscripts moving up through the north, gonna be potentially going for a decap of the strategic point. They will be running themselves into a Grand squad, which is unfortunate there, so they are going to be forced to pop into this stone house. Should be able to engage there for a little while, but without any additional support, they will eventually lose. So, or well, die, not lose, but yeah. Combat engineers moving around in the center. Conscripts moving around as they cap. Far left-hand side, conscripts capping. And, yeah, not much else going on. Conscripts popping out of the house. As like I said, they are getting assaulted by multiple sides. We do have Pios with flamethrowers now. Pios popping themselves back inside the house. Their flamethrower friend unable to help out in this engagement, as it does not have range. And the conscripts down to 2 men, going to be uraying away and probably popping on the other side of this hedge and then retreating, right, to be able to get a good angle of retreat. Combat engineers and conscripts trying to engage the Grens up here. Going to be forced to retreat as the MG42 does get popped inside this house, getting a lead on them. The Flamethrower bursts going off. The conscripts taking some damage. Having to run a gauntlet here. Maybe actually get themselves killed. No, it looks like the grunts are going to ignore the retreating squads, not wanting to focus him down. As the combat engineer squad is also forced to retreat, having taken some damage there. Maxim machine gun on the left-hand side does manage to catch both of those grunt squads out in the open. One of them taking some heavy damage there. Getting pinned down, the second squad managing to crawl out of range. Up in the north, we see movements by the grunt squads going around to potentially flank. Conscript squad does capture the fuel point, but is now going to get assaulted by 2 squads. Second Maxim machine gun moving up to provide some additional support. Grunt squads do get forced to retreat, as they are unable to, well, really do much. And Cruz asking if he likes that better. Quentin replying with, no, I do not like that better. I'm assuming to the MGs stopping his troops, right? Back at base, we do see the medics going down as Cruz wants to be able to heal up as he moves out. Gonna be moving out without full heals as the troops, you know, they're now fully reinforced and, well, they have to move out. They have stuff they have to do, so it's not gonna be waiting in grunts, just moving themselves to the far edge of the map, just trying to wait until they can put themselves in a better angle, I suppose. Mines getting laid down for Cruz. In the center of the map, Quentin does select this doctrine. That is the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. Rarely used nowadays for the Assault Grenadiers. When it first came out and got added into the game, Assault Grenadiers were kind of broken and you would just simply build those and win the game. But, I mean, they got addressed relatively quickly, so it's not that bad. Maxim machine gun on the left-hand side does get flanked there, as Quentin did set himself up in a nice little position there with that Grand Squad. Moving one up to engage, forcing it to move in one direction, then getting on top of it and quickly forcing it off the field. Second Maxim machine gun on the field on the right-hand side does manage to get the upper hand on that one Grand Squad. However, Combat Engineer Squad may be going down here on the retreat as it is very low in health. Seems though like it will be able to barely make it out of there with its life. Combat Engineers, conscripts, and nothing else. What was it? Oh, another conscript squad retreating from the right-hand side as they were not able to place themselves in a more favorable angle. Grants taking a hit there on the mine, down to 2 men. However, with no follow-up, we do have a Maxim machine gun and the conscript squad trying to get on that Grant squad. The Grant squad is getting shot at there by the Maxim machine gun. One in the back, one in the front. Down to 1 man. May actually be taken out here. Is it going to? No. I thought it, well, it will, but it looks like it might not be able to. Well, we'll see. Shots fly. No, it's pretty healthy. If it had managed to gain that angle before and catch it right as it passed its angle, maybe it might have been able to kill it, but it was healthy enough that it manages to make it out of there. So, lucky break there for Quentin. Unfortunate there for Cruz. Cruz going for a very mixed arms, combined arms kind of approach. Getting a lot of infantry, MGs, and even a mortar from his tier 2, utilizing it to its full extent. Mortar on the field going to be helping to dislodge everything on these houses on the right-hand side. Mechanized Assault Group does get called in for Quentin. Not much on the field that can stop it right now. Conscripts, I don't even think, have anti-tank grenades. Is he getting them researched? Yes, he is. Of course he is. But for now, in a brief window of time, the infantry can't really do much against that half-track. Small arms fire does hurt it, but I mean, it can easily just run on top of it, push infantry around, and not allow them to get a good angle. So the conscripts and the Mackin machine gun on the left-hand side managed to push away those grants. Going to be getting that victory point and fuel point back. Does have the support of the mortar, which is an interesting location to have the mortar. Usually you would expect it over on the right-hand side, precisely for the houses, right? But looks like not in this situation. Ooh, Maxim machine gun getting caught on the retreat there by Mr. Quentin as he does pop the Panzer Grenadier. Sorry, I lost their name for a little bit. Panzer Grenadier squad out of the half-track and pops in the flamethrower pile squads, utilizing the good old flamethrower clown car technique, and well, managing to do quite a bit. Grand Squad seems to be going for the steal on the Maxim machine gun. Yes, there goes the Maxim machine gun. Grand Squad gonna have to get out of there. Panzer Grenadiers popping in the house. Everybody forced to retreat on the right-hand side, and the mortar, Maxim, and conscripts on the left-hand side are, well, just there essentially. Which is why I said that the mortar on the right-hand side seemingly makes a little bit more sense, but you know, having it somewhere around here in the center, it's also pretty good as it can provide support in both directions, right? We'll see what happens. Tier 3 moving up for Cruz, putting it quite out there at the front. Can you actually reinforce your troops from Tier 3? I mean, I can understand Tier 1 and Tier 2 since it generates infantry, but these guys? I guess we'll see if anybody moves in there with no troops. So the Maxim machine gun set up properly on the left-hand side stops the approaching Grand Squad. Mortar is forced to back off out of the way. Conscripts and combat engineers quickly going to be dealing with that one Grand Squad as we have more Grants on the left-hand side moving around. Grand Squad's now getting equipped across the board with LMGs. Conscripts pushing forward, one conscript squad taking quite a bit of damage. Second one retreating. Not sure why it retreated. It was 5-man strong, but seemingly Cruz did not want to risk losing anything there. Mortar shots flying onto the fuel point on the left-hand side. We do see the half-track moving around by itself. Now, this half-track does not have the capability to reinforce, so, you know, you can't really do that with him. So the only thing it's good for is clown carring? Or car clowning? Clown carning? Carring. Well, whatever. Anyways, yeah, everything's just moving around. The car moves back. Infantry pops in, and the flamethrower is back in action on that car. AT gun finally getting built for Cruz. He does, of course, have access to the AT grenades now, so, you know, he has ways to respond to that clown car, so it's not all necessarily bad. Quentin saying, God damn it. I think he might be saying, God damn it, because these guys were placed and not capping at the same time, maybe? Rifle grenade flies. Combat engineer squad gets hit. Or what happened to him? Not sure I know what happened to him exactly, but we'll see. And on the right-hand side, we do hear a treacherous Maxim machine gun opening up on the combat engineer squad as it tries to go capping some points. Grant's coming up, trying to get a good flanking position. Maxim machine gun forced to retreat. The mortar gun be forced to retreat as well, as it doesn't have a any chance whatsoever. Conscript squad forced to retreat as well as the flamethrower half-track moves up. Gonna be having to run a very tough gauntlet here as it gets on top of everything. Conscript squad down to 2 men, down to 1, gets cleared out as Quentin just rinses them with the LMGs. Second conscript squad gets on top of one of the Grand squads, forcing it to retreat, so it's a bit of a more even engagement. However, with the appearance of the flamethrower half-track, well, that's going to quickly change. AT grenade does go off on the half-track. We do have the AT gun on the field, trying to put itself in position there to get a shot off on the clown car. The conscripts are trying to stay on the field to give line of sight. However, does not look like they managed to do so, and the clown car will be able to move out of the way and get reinforced relatively quickly. MG42 going to be stopping the approaching combat engineers as they are trying to provide line of sight. Maxim machine gun does deal with the Grants. However, the AT gun will not be able to move itself into position to clear out the half-track, and the half-track just slowly crawls out of the way and is going to be staying alive. T-70, however, is on the field for Cruz. Nothing on the field for Quentin to stop it here. Nope, never mind. He does have that pack gun, and it is on this side. T-70, though, might be able to put itself in a circle strafing going on this AT gun, and he does. We do have Faust, of course, available on the Grants, and the Grants will be able to Faust them. However, the AT gun will get cleared out. Yep. Faust go off, hits fly, and the T-70, wow, gets taken out as heavy usage of the Fausts get utilized there. Very expensive kill there for Quentin as far as ammunition goes. I mean, not too expensive, but, you know, more than he would have otherwise wanted to do. But Quentin saying, finish kaput. I'm assuming that he's telling Cruz that he's finished. So the Maxim machine gun trying as best it can against everything here. Oh, a nice little artillery barrage there by the AT gun. Gets a good hit on the Grants, forcing them to retreat. The Stuggy is now on the field for Quentin. AT gun is alive and kicking. Conscripts do have access to AT grenades. AT grenade flies, gets a hit on the engine. The Stuggy is now in a bad spot. And Quentin may have just made this engagement much more difficult for him than necessary. AT gun getting some shots off point blank range, does get merged there by that conscript squad, and it manages to stay alive even with the rifle grenades flying at its face, and down goes the Stuggy. So as good as it was that he got himself a nice little kill there on the T-70, with that loss there, he kind of, you know, balances out once again. So, you know, he was claiming victory a little bit ago, I believe, but now the game will go on and on and on.
Supply sector under attack.
Maxi machine gun on the right-hand side, going to be capping. I mean, even with that loss, though, Quentin is in a very, very good spot. Manages to get another Stuggy up to the front of the base. Shot flies from the AT gun, gets a good hit. Conscripts throw another AT grenade. There goes the engine, and the AT gun may be able to push forward and get a kill. It is a little bit far away, though, so I don't think it's going to happen. AT gun is going to give it a hell of a try, though, but the Stuggy is actually still pretty fast, even with a damaged engine. It's still maneuverable, especially on a road. Should be able to get out of harm's way with relative ease. Now, with no Pios on the field for Quentin, though, he doesn't have any way of repairing it, so he needs to get a Pio squad going now. Doesn't have the manpower just yet, so it looks like he's going to have to wait a little bit.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
So the half-track and the Stuggy are now forced back to the base, as they really don't have much that they can do right now without any help. Maxi machine gun on the right-hand side retreating. The stolen one that Quentin has. Conscripts managing to get a good few shots in there, killing one more member. Well, that's about as much as they're going to do. Maxi machine gun on the left-hand side, going to be trying to go for the point. Going to be having to reposition itself, as we do have Grants attacking. Behind it, we do have another Maxi machine gun turning itself around to try to stop the approaching Grants. Both squads managing to get some good shots in there. Maxi machine gun repositioning itself here to try and get a better angle on that Grant squad. It is suppressed. Shots continue to fly, and it will get a pin down. And we do have the pack gun getting recovered here by that Grant squad, allowing it to move out of the way with the support of one. Okay, so Grant squad on the left-hand side. Staying a little bit too long there, but thankfully, though, it was able to get out of there. Thankfully for Quentin. And stays alive. Pio squad's now back on the field, getting repairs going on the Stuggy. The clown car is still there, potentially able to do some work. And the conscripts over on the right-hand side, taking this opportunity to capture the map. 462 to 182. Quentin holding a excellent lead. And, well, we'll see if the game just basically comes to a close to victory points, because it, well, potentially could. Panzer Grenadiers trying to cap that strategic point, getting mortared. The mortar still on the field. Veterans who won acquired, only 4 kills, but done a little bit of damage. Conscripts popping in the house, getting some good shots there on the Maxi machine gun. The Maxi machine gun will get cleared out. However, it did force a retreat of the conscript squad. Conscripts in the house, and the Maxi machine gun shooting back at the treacherous weapon, forcing it to retreat, and the grunts behind it also getting suppressed due to the flying bullets in its direction. Stuggy back on the field, fully operational. Right now the issue for Quentin is the manpower, but considering the fuel, I mean, at this point, probably just wait for the Tiger, maybe? We'll see. Combat engineers trying to go for the fuel, unable to do so as the MG42 gets him pinned down, forcing the retreat. Mortar is on the field, could get some shots going, but probably won't be able to do much. We do have the Maxi machine gun behind it to provide some support. Double AT guns on the field for Cruz, trying to stub that Stuggy. And on the right-hand side, we see the infantry pushing for Quentin, trying to slowly but steadily recover some of the missing territory. Combat engineers capturing that fuel. And Cruz, as of yet, has not selected a Doctrine, which is interesting. At this stage, I don't think it's going to be Soviet industry. I would assume probably guard mortar coordination tactics. T-3485, start pumping them out, maybe? No? It's a weird Doctrine selection that he has available, so we'll see what ends up happening there. But for now, with the help of the Stuggy, Quentin is able to just simply push back the Red Army. Conscripts pushing forward. Grand Squad forced to retreat due to the Maxim machine gun. But we do have LMGs equipped. We also have mines on the field here for cruzz. Trying to see if they can maybe catch sneaky squad there. Combat engineers, Maxim machine gun on the right-hand side. Mines do get laid down. Cruzz doesn't have anything to follow up, though. Stuggy, oof, stops barely short of the mine. Going to be turning itself around, getting a shot flying at the combat engineers. No, it looks like they're going to be able to make it out of there. AT guns, though, do get assaulted here by the not the combat engineers. Pio squad. Conscript squad behind it is able to provide some support. And the Pios in the left-hand side are retreating. Stuggy trying to move its way forward, swings around, and it's just going to be barely dodging that that mine. Pio squad on the right hand side forced to retreat. Maxim machine gun, stolen Maxim machine gun, shooting back at its red comrades, and the mortar trying as best it can to clear it, but the Soviet mortar, it's actually not that great. Rifle grenade does fly at once at where the Maxim machine gun once was. Long gone though, so it doesn't hit anything, not even any splash damage on the retreat. And we do have more Maxim machine guns on the field for cruzz. Just trying to fight back. This Maxim machine gun does get oof, barely makes it out of there. Quite lucky there for Quentin. Quentin, half a command point away from getting himself a Tiger, has the fuel for it. Almost has the manpower for it, and I would assume he's going to be getting that manpower relatively soon. Cruzz does finally go his selection, and apparently he does actually go for the industry one, getting himself a KV-8 on the field. KV-8, not a bad choice with the current state of the game, because there's not a lot on the field that Quentin can do to stop it. Flamethrower, pretty powerful at clearing out everything he has. The pack gun can get some damage, but it'll get cleared out. And the Stuggy, I mean, it can shoot and do some damage, but, you know, that's about it. However, we can see by the stats, by the numbers here, that Quentin is definitely going to be getting himself a Tiger. And once the Tiger is out, that KV-8, well, basically becomes a Tiger's bitch, essentially. The pack gun is going to get cleared out here by the flamethrowers. They should be able to get its way back into the base. Which is going to be unfortunate there for cruzz, as he will not be able to steal it. But it will put it out of commission for a little while, even though it is being quite hardy and surprisingly strong at withstanding the damage here of the flamethrower. There goes the flamethrower burst, down goes the pack gun, and it looks like, damn. Cruzz being a little bit over-aggressive here, losing a lot of members on the AT gun. The conscripts need to go back and merge with it. However, Quentin has managed to call in the Tiger. The Tiger now back in action. Will quickly deal with that KV-8. And yeah, I think basically that wins Quentin the game. I don't think there's anything cruzz can do to stop it, aside from Quentin just throwing the tank at the AT gun. These guys need to merge with these quickly. So the Tiger going to be turning itself around as the KV-8 is trying to burn down the base. Yeah, that was the mistake he did right there. I think that might be it for him. I mean, they're going to be able to recover it with 3 men left. Conscripts now need to retreat. Nice artillery barrage by the AT gun. Manages to nail that MG42 and clear it out. However, conscripts lose the AT gun again. Yeah. Stuggy coming up on the flank. The AT gun's moving back. Conscripts are nearby to throw some AT grenades if they so desire. But yeah, the KV-8 goes down to the Tiger, as we all knew it would. AT guns get cleared out with the Stuggy. These guys are all pinned down. Everybody forced to retreat. That's game. Let's see if cruzz can do anything, or is he going to throw in the towel. But yeah. Needed to have the AT guns basically be able to hold off, but now without the AT guns, Quentin can just simply waltz into the base. Everybody's retreating, but everybody can't do anything. Yeah. Those AT guns were critical, pivotal. He needed to keep those alive, and not to be too overly aggressive. It looks like he was trying to finish the game maybe there, but yeah, I mean, he saw the Stuggy. He knew that a Tiger was eventually coming, so maybe he thought he had time. Maybe he thought he could potentially get himself a win before the Tiger came, which is a risky thing to play at, and may have not worked out. Clown car still alive, still kicking, forcing the combat engineers on the right-hand side to retreat. Tiger just sitting there comfortably in the base, taking some shots at tier 3. Gotta be removing it. We do have an AT gun coming onto the field for Cruz, so he might be able to push back the Tiger, make it, you know, not just simply end the game right now. But I don't see him coming back. He's down to 56 points. Basically a 300-point lead for Quentin, who's currently still bleeding him. So, second Stuggy on the field, going to be running right on top of all these weapons. One Stuggy did take a little bit of damage on the engine, but what does it care, right? It's not going to get shot by anything. So the AT gun does manage to get some shots flying at the Tiger. Tiger is going to back off and leave the base intact for now. Well, not intact, but, you know, alive for now. The Stuggy is still trying as best it can to just clear infantry. Getting some direct shots there, being quite annoying. Fancy Grenadiers popping inside the Clown cart, trying as best they can to deal damage to the approaching infantry. They do get some defensive bonuses, I believe. But the Stuggy over on the right-hand side does clear out one of the Maxims, clears out the mortar. Cruz desperately trying to build himself an Su-76 to try and have something to fight off. You know, basically the mentality of never give up, never surrender, I suppose. So I'm going to assume, I'm going to go out on the limb here and say that the game is going to come to a close due to the victory points and not Cruz throwing in the towel. Even though I think he lost the game like a while ago back over here.
We have lost the machine gun crew.
So the AT gun is going to be getting some shots there on the Stuggies. The Stuggy now in a bad spot, actually. Not sure what it's doing. Manages to get out of there, stay alive, which is nice for the Stuggy, I suppose. And we do have the Su-76 on the field. Now, the Su-76 is very fragile and not very powerful when it comes to the AT gun. It is not as strong as the AT gun by any means. But it can definitely help easily against the Stuggies. So, you know, there's that. Su-76 being very ballsy, moves up and takes a shot at the Tiger. Gets shot back in the face. Staying alive, of course, but yeah, being a little bit of a badass. 14 points remain for the Cruz. Currently double capped as he needs to cap this point and is bleeding 2 points per tick. Even with the capping of the point, he's still bleeding 1 point per tick, and I don't see him being able to make any push on any of the points. Desperately trying to throw a conscript squad up to the northern point, unable to really do so, as even an artillery barrage goes off. A Stuggy does go down, so nice little victory there for Cruz. But 5 points do remain. He's not even pushing on the left-hand side. GG goes down by Quentin, as obviously at this point nothing can be done. GG goes thrown in by Cruz. Does he end the game, or do we wait for the ticks? It looks like we wait for the ticks, as the AT guns just simply waltz past the Tiger. With 1 point left, the tick goes by, and the game comes to a close. So yeah, very nicely played by both. To be fair, though, Cruz said that he was playing to lose, so there you go. But no, yeah, I think it ended over here with this little thing. If he still had those AT guns in place and a little bit more defensively, the game could have gone on a little bit longer, and maybe he could have turned it around, but he was still on the losing end of those victory points, so it was still an uphill battle. But, well, there you go. Anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.